joining on Zoom or joining on Facebook Live. Tonight's practice is going to be a really nice, deep, restorative, relaxing and renewing practice. We're going to go through some more deeper held stretches and longer held stretches to help us really unwind. We're going to really connect in with the breath. So to begin, once you've got yourself seated, there's also the option to have support from some props for your practice tonight. So I've got a cushion from my couch to sit on. I've also got quite a large cushion from my bed. So if you have a house cushion or a bed cushion or pillow, feel free to grab that now. I'm also using a blanket underneath me, which we might use later on in the class as well as a form of a bolstering support for the back. So just take a moment, if you haven't got those things already, to grab those things. And then when you're ready, just bring yourself to a comfortable seat in your space, whether that's on a yoga mat or on a blanket or a towel or just sitting on the floor. Once you've found your seat, maybe closing your eyes here, resting your hands wherever it's comfortable for you. And just taking a deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. So as you breathe in, lift and lengthen up through your spine, find space through your torso. And parting the lips, sighing out through the mouth, but maintaining this space, this height and length through the torso. Just take a couple more of those at your own pace, breathing in deep through the nose and sighing out through the mouth. Just starting to turn our attention toward ourselves, toward our bodies. There's nothing like a few deep breaths to really press pause on everything that's happening and be able to tune in or check in with what's going on within ourselves. Throughout this practice, you might have your eyes open, you might have your eyes closed. I find having the eyes closed is really helpful to internalize, limit distractions, kind of have a heightened awareness of my other senses. Start the evening practice with some breathing. So just take a moment to settle into an awareness of your natural rhythm of breath. So without any control of the breathing or forcing the breathing in any way, just taking a really relaxed look at the breath, moving it in and out of your body. Allowing the shoulders to relax. The chin to drop slightly down. Feel the lifting of the breath from the belly up into the chest. And the softening as you exhale. And just really gradually starting to deepen each inhale. And lengthen each exhale. So we usually program to breathe more shallowly, more into the top of the lungs, around the chest area. So see if you can start to bring the breath a little deeper, as if you're breathing down into your abdomen. So you feel the belly expanding out as you breathe. And lifting the breath up to the chest. Exhaling, releasing. You can stay with the sighs out through the mouth if you'd like. And all together we'll just take a breath in and out and then introduce a count to the breath. So breathing in and out. And then all together taking a breath in for 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release it out. 3, 2, 1. Just let that pause there happen naturally, and then again, breathing in, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in for a count at the top, and then exhale, 3, 2, 1. And just continue on, taking deep breaths in, long breaths out. Just looking to find a balance in the length of inhales and exhales. And finding a way and a place where we can do this without any unnecessary strain or forcing of the breath. Just thinking of it as an invitation to your body to breathe deeper, to breathe longer, more fully. And just finding a count that's comfortable for you. Just taking 5 more breaths in this way. Deep breath in through the nose. Little pause and holding the breath in at the top. And releasing, sighing the breath out. Just noticing the effects of breathing in this way. Notice how your body feels. Notice where your mind's at now that you've started to slow down and check in with the breath. So looking to maintain this rhythm of breathing, this length of breath throughout our practice this evening. If you need to shorten it a little bit to be more sustainable, then that's fine. Just keeping the focus on having the inhales and the exhales in balance with each other. So allowing for the breath to be at a natural rhythm, just a little bit deeper and longer than you would usually. So the first pose that we're going to come into tonight, I actually don't know what to call it or what the name of it is, but we're going to come and lie down on the front of the body. So making your way down onto your belly and extending the legs out long behind you. And then bringing the right knee, the right leg up to the side. So if you can, bring the knee up in line with your hip and your heel underneath your knee or directly in line with your knee. If that's too much, you can take the leg down a little bit more. We're just going to be able to relax through the hip and through the back. So once you've found the position for your leg, take the arms down, and you can either rest your head on your hands, or rest your head on the floor and come into cactus arms. So cactus arms is like having the arms at a right angle, like this. And I'm just going to fix this camera on the Zoom. And once you're in that position, you can experiment with which way you have your head turned, whether you're turning your head toward the knee that's lifted toward the right, or whether you want to turn your head in the opposite direction. And if you'd like, you are welcome to use a cushion and place the cushion underneath your head. The whole aim of this practice this evening is to find relaxation, to find some release of the body. So bring yourself into that position. And find some comfort here, find some ease here, wherever that is for you and however that looks for you. And once you've settled into your position, to your shape here, just bring your attention to the points of contact between your body and the surface beneath you. Notice the places and points of pressure, feeling into the parts of the body that are lifted up away from the floor. Feel the back of the body starting to release down through the front toward the floor. So almost like a melting down to the floor beneath you. Let the body release and relax. come to rest your awareness on the breath. And just looking to find that nice balanced breath. Inhales and exhales, long and deep and even, without strain. Feeling into the movement of your body with the breath. Because our mind loves to think, we're bound to get distracted and go off into thought throughout this practice. When you notice that that's happened, all you need to do is just redirect your attention and your awareness to your body and to your breathing again. And because this practice is all about relaxing, releasing, and letting go, rather than allowing this busy nature of our mind to bring us further agitation, see if you can just allow the thought to be released, and with kindness, without beating yourself up, just come back to the breath. I'm just going to take another 5 long breaths here. Feel the way the back ribs lift and expand out as you breathe in. And softening the body into the floor as you breathe out. And now, using the support of your hands, just going to start to slowly press yourself up. Keeping your right leg where it is, we're going to come into a Sphinx variation. So for Sphinx, you're bringing your forearms right underneath your shoulders. And if this is too much with the right leg where it is, you're welcome to slide that right leg back just a little bit. Directing the front hip bones toward the floor. Starting to draw the shoulders back and down a little bit here. But still working with ease, without too much effort. You can experiment with having the head lifted here, maybe taking the eyes down toward the mat, or the eyes closing. Or you can just let the head hang down and feel into an extra stretching here through the back of your neck. You might even like to take your head a few times from side to side just to release through left and right sides of the neck and the upper shoulders. Just doing what feels good and feels beneficial for you and your body this evening. See if you can find yourself a center and drop into some stillness here in this pose. Just watching that movement of breath and being with the breath completely as it comes in and as it goes out. Just 5 more breaths here. Starting to slide the hands back underneath your shoulders. Take the right leg, and extend it out behind you. Bring both legs next to each other and just wriggle the hips from side to side a few times. We do the same on the other side, so taking the left leg up, finding a height that suits you. You can, if you're on a hard floor like I am, it can be nice to have a cushion underneath the knee or underneath the ankle if the pressure is too much. And then positioning the hands wherever is comfortable for you, so maybe in a cactus arms, right angle between the upper arm and forearm. Or it might be nice to have the hands stacked underneath the head. And then just turning to rest on one side of the face. So it's really up to you which way you turn your head. Typically there'll be a favourable side. So maybe see if you can turn the head in the opposite direction to where it was last time, on the right side. Even if that's not entirely comfortable, maybe just stay with that position for a few breaths and then return back to what's more comfortable for you. So we do want to cultivate some balance between the right and left sides of the body. And just checking in with the body, feeling into the places where the body meets the floor, and seeing if you can become more heavy into those points, really releasing the rest of the weight of the body down into the floor through those points of contact. And bring awareness to your breathing. If you find it's too much to maintain an even rhythm in and out, and just come to a simple observation or awareness of your natural breathing. It's more relaxing for you to just breathe normally, allow the body to breathe itself, and see if you can just stay within awareness of that natural flow of your breath. Because we're finding stillness in these poses, really anchoring in on the breath to keep ourselves in the present moment. It can be really difficult sometimes to just be still and be present. Each time we come to practice this, that faculty of awareness, that presence becomes just a little bit easier. Anything that you practice grows stronger. And this is why we call it a yoga practice. So staying with the breath. Taking the last 5 breaths here. And seeing if you can stay with your breathing as you move up onto the forearms for our modified Sphinx on the other side. So elbows come underneath the shoulders. If that's a back bend that's too deep for you, then you can just take your elbows slightly forward, bring your chest a little lower to the floor. Remembering that you can shift that left leg higher or lower depending on how that hip's feeling and how your back's feeling. Gently draw the shoulders down the back and away from the ears, just creating some more space through the chest. There's always the option to bring some movement to your head and neck. Just finding the best position for your head and neck. Just try not to sink and dump down through the shoulders. So there's just a little bit of active pressure downward through the forearms, through the elbows. Every now and then you might feel a need to take a deeper breath in or to sigh out of your mouth. Just do whatever you need to do to find more ease, to find more relaxation here. The out breath has a really releasing, letting go kind of aspect. So sometimes when we sigh, it's just a way to release that out of our body, release that energy. And just 5 more breaths here. After that 5th breath, just extending your left leg straight back next to your right leg. Wriggle the hips side to side a few times. I'm just going to hold here in Sphinx right in the center, both legs straight out behind you. Notice if you need something a little bit deeper here, you're welcome to start to take the hands out at a right angle, press into the hands and come a little higher into a seal pose. If that feels like too much, then just come back to the forearms. And wherever you are, we're going to take some neck rolls together. So take the chin down to the chest, releasing through the back of the neck and the upper back. And on your next inhale, start to lift the head, lift the chin, take the gaze up. Not to the point where you feel like you're craning through the back of the neck and it's too uncomfortable, but just finding a gentle stretch through the front, through the throat. And then exhaling, lowering the chin back down toward the chest. Until you find a stretch through the back of the neck. Press down to the forearms, down to the elbows. Then inhale, coming back up. Exhale, dropping it down. One more time, breathing in as you lift the gaze, lift the chin. Press down to the forearms. And breathing out, rounding down. Taking your right ear over towards your right shoulder. A little lift of the chin. Staying here for a few breaths. Then moving the chin down through center toward the chest and over to the left. So right ear coming over toward left ear coming over to your left shoulder. Taking a few breaths here, noticing how that feels. Draw elbows down into the floor, shoulders back. Coming back to the center, letting the head hang down, chin toward the chest, taking a few breaths here. Then bringing the hands underneath the shoulders or just outside the shoulders. We're going to press up, pull elbows in, roll shoulders back, coming into a cobra. And then exhale, come down, touch the chin or the forehead to the floor. Inhale, press down, lift the chest up. And exhaling, coming down. This time just pressing yourself up onto your knees, coming into an all fours or tabletop position. Knees underneath hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And we'll just take a few rounds of Majrayasana, the cat stretch, just to release through the back a little bit there and the vertebra. So inhale, draw your chest forward, lift your tailbone, let your belly drop down and draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, press into the floor. Bring the tailbone to tuck underneath you. Chin toward the chest, press the spine toward the ceiling. Inhale, come forward again. Broaden through collarbones and lift the gaze. Exhale, curl in, gentle squeeze of the belly. One more of those. Inhale, come forward. And exhaling to round. Let's come back to a neutral position. Stay active through the hands, pressing down, lifting your upper body, the back of your body up toward the ceiling, just feeling into what would be a flat back position here. So gentle engagement of the core. And then taking the knees out wide, drawing the big toes in toward each other. We're going to come back into child's pose. So start to send the hips down toward the heels. And you have an option here whether you want to have your hands extended out in front of you or whether you want to rest your arms down beside your legs. If having the knees wide is too much and it's too intense through the inner thighs and the groin, you can always bring the knees a little bit closer together and then fold your torso down over your thighs. And for the head, if your head isn't reaching the floor, you can bring a cushion, a pillow or a cushion out in front of you. Or you can place a cushion between your legs and kind of use that to prop your upper body up a little more. And this is a really nice, relaxing way to come into child's pose. It's also the option to stack the fists on top of each other to support the forehead there. So finding your expression of this child's pose, what feels best and most relaxing for you and your body. You can have the forehead resting on the floor, or you might have to have your head turned to one side. And taking a deep breath in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth, and as you release that breath, let your body get heavy and drop down toward the floor. So hips are heavy toward heels. Torso moves down either onto the thighs or between the legs toward the floor. Tuning into your breath again and feeling the breath moving through the back of the body. So a sense of the breath being drawn into your back body, flaring the rib cage on the inhales. Settling in here. gets too much for your knees, there's also an option to bring a cushion between your heels and your buttocks to pop yourself up there a bit more if you can't quite get all the way down. And also, just if your knees are sensitive, if you're on a hard floor, you can fold up a mat or a blanket or place cushions under the knees. So really do whatever you need to do to get comfortable. Looking to just release and relax. Take a moment to just notice what you feel within your body as you rest here. Even, steady flow of breath. Taking 5 more breaths here. Slowly pressing into knees, coming back up onto all fours. Knees underneath the hips, and then just moving the hips from side to side. So as you move your hips to the right, see if you can pull back through right shoulder, turn your head to the right, moving through center and to the left. Kind of arcing side to side. Into a pose very similar to what we just did in child's pose. This time we're going to keep the hips high, so take the hands further out in front of you. Keep your hips high and then just start to move your torso down toward the floor. So you might need to walk your hands further forward, bring your head to rest down on the floor, and working the hips up and back. You might feel a little bit of pull in your arms, in your shoulders, in your upper side body. See if you can pull the breath up into the side ribs. We're just taking 5 breaths here. So a little longer, a little deeper in this position. Hands back in. From here we're going to come into pigeon pose. So this is a really deep hip opening stretch. I'll show you, I'm going to give 2 different variations for this because I know for some people, particularly those of us with really tight hips, this can be quite intense and quite difficult to hold for a longer period of time. So the first option here is to just come into traditional pigeon pose. So start by bringing your right knee up to meet your right wrist, and then start to move your right shin across to the left, your right ankle across to the left. So you get a little bit of an angle. So I can show you from the front, kicking over candles. So this kind of position. And then sending the left leg straight back behind you. Walking hands forward, folding your torso over that right thigh. Those that came prepared with cushions and pillows and things like that, I like to have, if I'm feeling quite tight through my hips, I like to have a little cushion or a block or whatever I have and place it underneath the right buttock or the right hip. So whichever side you're doing this on. So starting with the right side, so you have the option to place it there as a bit of a support. And then folding down over that right leg. You can stay up on your forearms, or you can fold all the way down, extend the arms out in front of you. So just find something that is going to be maintainable for the next couple of minutes. Now the other option is to come down onto your back. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. And then bringing your right ankle up and over your left thigh. So finding a right angle between your thigh and your shin. And then starting to lift your, for some of you this might actually be enough. And you can use your right hand to press your right knee away from you. You might even step your left heel in a little bit closer towards your left glute. If you need a bit more, you can lift your left leg up and in towards you. You might be pulling right foot in and pressing right knee away, or you can take your right arm through the space between the legs, reach around with your left hand and interlace around the shin. And then you're just gently drawing that left thigh in as the right knee presses away. And whichever variation you've chosen, just take a moment to really feel this in your body. If at any time it gets too intense, it gets too much, you're welcome to come out of the pose and just rest and bring your attention to your breath. Because breathing is such a big and integral part of the yoga practice, if your body's not feeling up to anything and you end up just breathing and having an awareness of your breath through the whole practice, that's still a really high degree, a really great yoga practice. Settling into your breath awareness again. So we're here just for another 10 breaths. If you're finding that your mind is still quite active, still quite busy, you can just start to count your breathing. So you can count the in-breath in 1, and the out-breath 1. Breathing in for 2, breathing out for 2. And just counting the breath all the way up to 10. And you're welcome to continue using the counting of your breath through the rest of the practice if that's helpful for you in staying present. Encourage you to move at your own pace when you've come to that last breath, that 10th breath, then just start to shift your weight over into that right buttock, that right side. And then swinging your left leg up and out in front of you. So the sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the thigh. If you were doing a variation where you're on your back, then just roll over onto your right side and make your way up. So sole of right foot, inside left thigh. If you have got that tight hip going on, you might find that your knee's kind of floating up here. So another thing that you can do is using a blanket or a cushion or a pillow to place it underneath your knee and support that there, and that's going to really help facilitate the releasing of all the muscles and tendons through your right hip, right glute. So now turning towards your left leg, shoulders and hips facing forward. Allow for a little bend. If you've got another cushion, you're welcome to place that underneath your left knee. And all we're going to do here is fold or really roll forward. So with our more dynamic yoga practice, when we're being strict on alignment, it's always about the long spine and straight spine. Tonight, just allow yourself to roll and curve into this. So chin comes down, head drops heavy. You're just rolling forward from your sit bones, allowing the arms to release onto the floor. And just again checking in. Feeling through the back of your leg, your back, maybe into that right side, right hip. Just noticing what you're feeling, where you're feeling it. And it's just a noticing. It's not a judging or criticizing or labeling. You're just simply noticing and just being with your experience completely here in this moment. John Lennon, let it be. Find your breath. If there's anyone that's joined halfway through the breathing tonight, we're looking to have the breath even and rhythmic. So the inhales and the exhales have the same length. So you can use internal counting, so counting in your mind, length of the in-breath, length of the out-breath. But you don't have to count the breathing, you can just kind of get a sense for that balance between inhales and exhales. And just keeping your awareness, your attention on the breath. More of these breaths, and your forward fold. At the end of your 5th breath, bring your hands to the floor, just walk yourself back up, rolling back out through the spine. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the floor out in front of you. The hands just slightly behind you. Take the feet a little wider, so kind of sitting outside the hips but in front of you. And dropping knees side to side. So when you drop to the left, you're welcome to push that right hip open a little further. One more time each side. Then coming back onto hands and knees. making that transition in whatever way that's easiest for you. And we're coming to that hip opening on the other side, pigeon pose on the left side. So left knee comes into left wrist, and then crossing the left shin over toward the right wrist, behind the right wrist. And just know that whatever angle you've got here with your shin is going to affect the intensity of this hip stretch. So the closer the front of your foot and your shin is toward parallel with the front of your mat, the deeper the stretch is going to be. If it's too much, just bring your heel back toward the middle of your body. Extend back long through your right leg, and then just start to fold forward over your left leg, over your left shin and foot. Staying on the forearms might be enough to begin with, or you might find extending forward is better for you and you get more out of that. And those taking the second variation, coming onto the back, and this time bringing the left ankle on top of the right thigh, behind the knee. Either staying here with one hand on the right ankle and one hand on the left ankle, one hand on the left knee, one drawing in, one pushing away, or maybe lifting that right leg up, bringing your left shin closer in towards you and staying here, or you might take the arms around and interlace the fingers around the shin and knee. Wherever you are, awareness is on the breathing, and also noticing the sensations that you're experiencing moment to moment as you hold here. Just a little self-assessment here. We often have this tendency in this pigeon pose to rock all the way over so that you're kind of sitting on the outside of your left leg. If you find that that's what you're doing, see if you can pull your right hip over and down to the right. And just like I mentioned in the last, on the other side, if having a cushion or a pillow underneath the left side, underneath the left buttock is helpful. That can kind of help you stay balanced and even through the hips as well. So feel free to play around with any of those options, any of those variations to find what works for you. Counting up to 10 breaths here. After your 10th breath, coming up onto the hands, shifting your weight all the way over to the left, grounding down to the left side and bringing your right foot up, right side and out in front of you. So sitting up for our forward fold over the left leg, the right leg, left foot is inside the right thigh. torso facing out over your right leg. You know that you've got the option to place a cushion underneath your left knee to support that in that position. Taking an inhale, just lift and lengthen up, and as you exhale, drop the head, allow the shoulders to roll forward, walk hands out either side of that left leg. Just find the depth that suits you. The torso gets heavy and limp here, out over that right thigh, right leg. Back to the breath whenever you notice your mind's become distracted. Support to make your way up. Extending both legs straight out in front. And then just turning the feet in and out a few times. Just loosening up through the legs, give them a little bit of a shake if that feels good. And from here, if you have a cushion or a blanket, we're going to use that now to place it across the shoulder blades, or just underneath where the armpit line is. So I'm going to use the blanket that I have, fold it up, roll it up, and just place that horizontally across the mat. Then coming down over this blanket or cushion or whatever it is that you have, so that's resting across the shoulder blades, but your arms are able to fall over and behind. Then dropping your head back down to the floor behind you. So this is just a really subtle back bend and opening through the chest. So start with your feet resting on the floor. Feel your lower back in contact with the floor. After a few breaths here, if you'd like, you can extend your legs straight. And we're just here for 10 breaths. Really breathing up and expanding out into the chest, so making the most of this chest opening position. Just stretch out through all the intercostal muscles, all those little muscles between the ribs and the rib cage. after your 10 breaths, you can bring yourself up just high enough to move that support over to one side, and then coming down to lie flat on your back. Bringing the knees, the thighs in toward the chest. So each hand grabbing hold of each knee, bringing the big toes to touch. And as you pull in, take the knees wide. And as you move the knees away from your body, bring them in toward each other. So circling the knees out in opposite directions, but keeping the big toes touching. And then reverse the direction, so pushing knees away, opening out, and pulling back into the side of your body. And just hugging knees in, taking a rock from side to side. Keeping your legs raised, your knees up where they are, just lift the lower legs up to be parallel with the floor. From here, the hands can come out into a T shape along the floor beside you, where you can interlace your fingers underneath your head. You're going to move the knees, drop the legs over to the right side. Turning the gaze up toward the ceiling, or turning to look over your left elbow or left fingers. Having a cushion underneath your outside right leg or between your thighs can be helpful here. If you feel like you're having to hold yourself up, so use any support that you have to enable your body to release and relax into this position. Bring awareness to the breathing. Twist is so good for the health of our spine. They also offer a nice compression and massage for all of these internal organs. So just feeling into that twisting sensation through the spine, that gentle compression through the abdomen. Taking 5 more breaths here. Back to the center. Hug the knees in, lift the forehead toward the knees, squeeze in, round in. Bring the shoulders back down to the floor, the hands into a T position, and take the legs, the knees over to the left. If there's a different twist that you'd like to come into that you're familiar with, you're welcome to take that variation. Notice anywhere that your body's holding or resisting this pose. Use support where necessary or where available. The backs of the shoulders get heavy. squeeze and ease in, lift the forehead up. Hold here for a count of 3, 2, 1. Extend the arms forward. Extend and straighten the legs forward, hovering above the floor for 3. Engage all the muscles in your body for 2. And then 1. Release. Relax down to the floor. If you have a blanket nearby, you might like to place the blanket over your body. If you have a big cushion or pillow, you might like to place that underneath your thighs. It's really nice for the lower back. So get as comfortable as you can here. This is our final resting pose. Just lying down, making any little adjustments to your position so that you can be completely comfortable. Allow for some space between your legs. So have the legs a little wider. Arms out beside the body, but space between your arms and the side of your body. And the space of the armpits. Allowing the feet to roll open out to the sides. And the fingers to curl in toward the palms as they relax. Draw the chin down just a little lower than the forehead. If you'd like, you could take a few breaths here in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just really feeling, noticing that releasing of the out breath and that releasing that it brings to the body. Feel the body soften as you exhale. Bring your attention to all the parts, all the points through the back of your body that are touching the floor. And feeling the front of your body getting heavy, moving down toward the back of your body, toward the floor. Just taking yourself through a sweeping or scanning of the body with your awareness. So using your awareness like a light or like a torch and just shining that light down through the body, starting at the top of the head. So just becoming aware of the top of your head and feeling the top of your head. And slowly moving that awareness down through the face, from the forehead down to the chin. As you bring your awareness to these different parts of the body, see if you can bring in some more relaxation, some more releasing and softening. So releasing around the eyes, allowing the eyes to close. Releasing the jaw, the tongue. Scanning awareness down to the shoulders, down through each of the arms to the hands. Making your way down through your torso to your legs, all the way down to your feet. Just bringing more rest and relaxation into the body. Feeling your whole body becoming heavier. Just while you rest here, I'll finish with a reading. And I can't actually remember who it was that wrote this. I should have written it down, but it goes like this. Beautiful friend, soften. Let go of all of this weight on your back that you were never meant to hold. Let go of the expectation that you need to have it all together. And remember that life is messy for everyone, regardless of where you come from and who you are. Let go of the ideas of how you think it all should be. And know that life has a way of throwing us off and keeping us on our toes. Let go of the hurts that have unfairly happened to you and remind yourself that you are okay now. You might have scars that run deep, but you really are okay. Release your grip, beautiful friend. Allow yourself to rest. Let yourself heal. Soften. Take this moment here for some gratitude. Acknowledging, remembering how blessed you are. How blessed you are to be alive and breathing, walking, talking, eating, drinking. Think of all the other things that your life has been blessed with. And notice any sensations arising in the heart space at the center of the chest. Noticing the sensations in your body. Feeling this gratitude. And as always, you can rest here for as long as you like, as long as it's useful and beneficial to you. Stay with your breathing, stay with your body. When you're ready to close your practice, just do so slowly and gradually by bringing your attention first back to your surroundings, to your body. And when you feel ready to move, just start with small movements of hands and feet. Make this transition slow, make it mindful.